Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Marcy, would you please read the statement?
Yes. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 7th, 2020, and was posted on the municipal building, on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7. Vice President Auberger.
Here.
Councilmember Murphy.
Here.
Councilmember Van Tassel.
Here.
Councilmember Weller. Here. Council President Shortway.
Present. Would everybody please rise to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a proclamation tonight, Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'm going to read it myself. Some of you know I'm a former police officer, retired, and having to deal with dozens of these cases. It just needs to stop. And the best way to stop it is to report it when you suspect it. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a complex and ongoing problem in our society, affecting many children in Sussex County. And whereas every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas the child abuse and neglect not only directly harm children, but also increase the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems, and risky behavior. And whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by communities as a whole and need to be addressed by the entire community. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among families, social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Council of the Township of Vernon does proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and calls upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. Given under my hand in these free United States and Township of Vernon on this 9th day of March 2020, and to which I have caused the seal of Township of Vernon to be affixed and have made this proclamation public, Howard Burrell, Mayor, and myself as Council President. Thank you. I next would like to open up the floor for public comments for current agenda items. Thank
Motion.
You,
Second.
please state your name,
All
what
in
part of
favor?
town you live from. Yeah, I'll get it. When you come up, we'll have a motion. We have the motion, we have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I was doing two things at once. And you come up, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Ruth Ann Makita. My husband and I own 1 Red Lodge Drive, Unit Number 4 at Great Gorge Village. We do live in Hewitt. It's an Airbnb, which has turned out to be a much better deal for us in terms of nicety of the people than some of the long-term lease full-time tenants that we have had in the past. I just wanted to point out that pardon me. Some of the conditions for what the township needs to be provided, I think, will be a little too onerous. We provide the HOA with each guest name, the make and model number of the car, many times which can be a rental car because people are coming in this week even as far as from Anchorage, Alaska. So we don't even know until almost the day of arrival, although we will provide the names to our HOA. To our HOA, the names of the people, the make and model of the car, how many guests are coming, how long they're staying. To provide a driver's license, a photo of somebody's driver's license, I think would be a little too onerous. I mean, they could certainly send us something, but I think that would be a little bit much to send to the town itself. Many people we have, their city and state or country from which they are coming to us from. Not usually their full addresses. I think most people who are part of Airbnb provide a lot of information, government IDs, credit card numbers, and the like, in order to be accepted as customers of Airbnb. We have enough information to do business together. I do think sometimes, though, a full driver's license might be a little bit much to need to provide to the township, especially if the township isn't really the ones that are policing something like Great Gorge Village, which has its own security force. Another factor that I found might be a little bit too onerous is the fact that because we have a condo that has its own community, we pay HOA fees, about $300 a month. A permit fee of $350 a month seems a little steep to me. Hotels would
Did you say a
have...
month? Did you say?
A permitting fee of $350 I think might be a little steep. HOA fees are, like I said, almost $300 a month. I know. And
Yeah, you did say the $350 a month, is that?
no, I said, we pay HOA fees of
Right.
$350 a month, but
Right.
plus a permitting fee, oh, did I say that?
I think that's
$350 a year is a little bit more steep, because that works out to almost another $30 a month as an expense. I was thinking more along the lines of 150 or 200. And since I left my paper with my notes on it, I'll just have to wing this. We have, for the most part, had very good guests. The condos themselves are policed. Any of our neighbors who feel that if the guests have been a little too noisy or rambunctious, they've let us know right away, and it's only been a couple. I think having this as an aspect in town, having an Airbnb in town, having people able to rent out condos that they weren't able to sell when they moved because of market forces, does provide stability in town, that the units are being used, that they're being kept up. Anybody that partakes as a guest or as an owner of an Airbnb, the owners have to keep their properties in very good shape. We have a condo, so that's a little bit easier. There's no outside maintenance, but the place itself has to be someplace that somebody wants to come, someplace that looks good, that people want to spend time with, have their children in or have their friends with, or maybe spend a wedding weekend in. We get a lot of weddings. And guests have to behave because everybody is rated. If you're an Airbnb owner, you want to be a superhost, to have 5-star ratings as often as possible. If you're a guest, you also want to be highly rated or nobody is going to rent to you. It's a good check and balance. I think people who are within the Airbnb system behave. Airbnb also had published that they have a call line for people to use who are not part of the Airbnb system if there is a problem with somebody's property, if a guest is being rambunctious or too loud or noisy or being basically bad neighbors. Airbnb has published a phone number, which I don't have with me, unfortunately, that other people, the neighbors to the property, can call. And Airbnb will get in touch with the owners, whether it's an individual owner like my husband and I, or my friend Maria over here, or the corporation that owns the property that is being rented out as an Airbnb. So they have become more responsive. Thankfully, we haven't had to deal with that. But I know other people in other areas that have freestanding houses. Do you have any questions about my experience, our experience at all, the types of guests we've been having? I must say, Vernon gets really high marks. Mountain Creek, the other things that are available in the area, people like coming here, they think it's beautiful, they really like our unit. So it's been basically a very positive thing for us, and I think for the people that have come to stay with us here in Vernon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
anyone else? Come on up, please.
Hello again. My name is Maria Moeller and I'm from Staten Island, New York. I own a condo in Great Gorge Village. And I use this condo to come here with my family. And when we are not here, then we rent it out on Airbnb. As Rutan just said, we are paying $285 a month association fee, homeowners association. So the fee of $350 for somebody who has Airbnb as the second house feels really unfair because these people usually have 2 mortgages like myself. So if a person rents out a room in their house, that means that it's their primary residence and the only thing that they have to pay is their singular mortgage. So I feel that punishing us for having more than one property with higher fees is unfair. And coming here from Staten Island, from New York, I don't want to feel like I'm an outsider. When I go have lunch at the Mixing Bowl, I know the ladies by name. People know me at the supermarket. I also pay taxes here. So I don't want to be disregarded as somebody who doesn't live here full time and is not part of the community, because I'm here every week pretty much. Also, another thing that Ruth Ann mentioned, which can be really difficult for us as somebody who does the Airbnb bookings, is requiring the ID from people. I also use Airbnb myself. When I go and book through that website, nobody ever asks me for my ID because I already provided it to Airbnb. And if somebody would ask me that, I would think that it's an identity theft or something suspicious. I think that requirement is really a deal breaker here. So please think about that. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else from the public, which,
All right.
oh, come on up.
Yeah.
Please state your name, sir.
Yes, sir. Paul Mealy, Butternut Drive, Vernon. I'm here tonight to talk about your situation with your salary. You spoke about it earlier in your budget session. So I'm here on behalf of the building inspectors. Or are we not on to that
Oh,
yet?
is he talking about?
Are you talking about the inspectors?
Yes.
That ordinance? Okay, thank you, Paul.
Yes, we're talking about the adjustment to their salary, I guess would be. As a contractor in town since 1984, I got to tell you, these guys they're the most valuable thing you have here for construction. Without them, what are we going to do? We're going to rely on the state. You guys are, I don't know why it hasn't passed yet. They've been doing a job of a 4th person, all 3 of them. They banded together from what I understand. Just came to my knowledge just recently, so bear with me here. So they should have another inspector, but they don't, okay? So they've all agreed to apparently take on the extra responsibilities. Subsequently, they should be paid for that, I would think. We would all want to be paid, right? As long as they're doing that job, they should be paid for it. And I guess they haven't been, which I think is pretty unfair. I don't know who makes that decision, be it council or a mayor, but you got people who are willing to do the job. You're saving a salary, you're saving their insurances, you're saving on the extra car for the extra guy, you're saving a lot of stuff. So as long as they're doing the job, now if they're not doing the job, different story. But as long as they're doing the job, it's a benefit to our township not to have that extra employee if they're willing to do it. But most of all, they need to be compensated for that. They're working they've agreed to work 40 hours from what I understand. They're supposed to be 35, as we all just heard earlier. So I think it's a real benefit what these 3 gentlemen have offered. You're about to lose, I'm sure you're all aware, Dave's going to retire soon. You're going to be looking for another inspector. Honestly, I don't know where you're going to find them. These guys are hard to find. They're not in ready supply, so it would behoove you to really, give them their salary bump, if you will, and give them what's deserving of them. And of course, their back pay. They've been doing it from what I understand from, I want to say, I don't know, the beginning of the year, maybe even before that. So I just wanted to, stand up for them and say, do the right thing by these people. They're doing the right thing by all of us in town. Without them, your home, it could be your home one day that, you hire a contractor and guess what? There's no fire subcode official or no plumbing official. So what are you gonna do, wait for the state? Now your project gets tied up, and you might lose your loan, or you might not sell your house, whatever the case is. So it's a serious thing to think about. Let's treat people like they deserve to be treated here. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else, may I have a motion to close to public comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to number 7. Minutes. May I have a motion to adopt the following minutes? January 27th, 2020, February 10th, 2020, February 19th, 2020, February 24th, 2020, and February 27th, 2020.
Motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? None? Okay. Consent agenda. I'll read each by title with a short explanation. Resolution 20-68, authorizing the collective bargaining agreement with American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees in Vernon Township. This resolution, a collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME. Resolution number 20-92, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Vernon in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing proceeding with the applicant for funds from the Highlands Open Space Partnership funding program for the Town Center Trail. This resolution authorizes an application to be made from the Highlands Open Space Partnership funding program. May I?
Can we do them separately?
So you want that one pulled?
Well, just, there's two, so if we could
Okay,
just do
that's it.
them separate.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that. You all good with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, let me see, may I have a motion for Resolution 20-68?
Motion.
Sec,
Okay, roll call?
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel.
Yes.
Councilmember Weller.
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes. May I have a motion for
Can I-
resolution?
can I have-
You want discussion?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, on this, and we did discuss this in executive session, so I can't really get into details in public, but when I did ask our business administrator if there was an application, he said that the application's not available till we pass the resolution. My concern is that the price that we're going to be putting on the application is not necessarily a price that I'm aware of that the council agreed to. So, it's like, because this was a discussion that we had about further negotiations. So that's my issue with this, is how are we, it's like a catch-22. If we have to do the application, pass the resolution before they'll do the application, but we don't have a price, how do we just put in a price?
You're putting in the asking price
Which,
for the purposes of the
yeah, I
grant.
understand, but the asking price is not is not the price.
Not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying that we need to get an application to be considered, and that's what we're putting on the application, the asking price. Doesn't mean that that's the final price, that's all.
Can I have a copy of the application when you get it?
Sure.
My question is, the one line reading in the natural state to remain that way, does that preclude if a trail, a garden, a dog park, anything of that nature is now not to be going on it because it's in its natural state?
I know with past properties we bought, they've approved the trails, et cetera.
Okay, I just want
But
to,
I mean, that's past properties. I don't know on this application, and maybe Counselor,
You have to take a look at the application.
like parking lot, you might have some problems.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't want it to be locked in that there can be like
We want to use it.
no amenities put on.
I gotta really move on that.
I think the overall concern appears to be that the application is just an application that doesn't make the township committed to either any price or any development requirements or opportunities. So I just ask that I.
As long as it's not sold later on that, well, we applied for it, so that's what this is.
Right, exactly, that the
That-
application doesn't bind you, that it's just an application in order to get the state involved.
But we can't even apply unless the council approves.
Sure, exactly.
Anything else? Anything else? Kelly, Warren?
Nope.
Anything? Okay, may I have a motion to adopt it?
Motion.
Second.
Want to do roll call, please, Marcy?
Vice President Orberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Weller?
Yes.
Council President Shortway?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 9, introduction, first reading of proposed ordinances. Ordinance 20-09, ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, creating Chapter 476 of the Municipal Code of the Township of Vernon entitled Short-Term Rentals. This ordinance creates Chapter 476 of the Municipal Code entitled Short-Term Rentals. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 20-07 with a public hearing to be held on March 23rd, 2020?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
No.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Weller?
Yes.
Council President Shortway?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 10, public hearing, second reading of ordinances. Ordinance number 20-07, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 509 of the Municipal Code of the Township of Vernon entitled Taxation to revise the definition of transient accommodations. This ordinance amends Chapter 509 of the Municipal Code. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 20-07?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anybody wish to address the council on this? Wait, excuse me? Yeah, I know, but I have to ask. Seeing no one wishes to address the council, may I have a motion to close public discussion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 20-07?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
No.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Weller?
Yes.
Council President Shortway?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance number 20-08, ordinance amending the salary ordinance for non-union employees. This ordinance amends the salary ordinance. May I have a motion to open?
I just have a comment before.
Okay.
And, you know, when this was introduced, actually what I did was I submitted an Oprah because I wanted to see payroll changes. So now I actually know that we did hire an inspector. I wasn't aware that we did hire an inspector already, maybe to replace somebody. So I just wanted to, so I could see why the ordinance is needed. It's just like with some of the items that I mentioned in the budget meeting, it would be good if we could have this information prior to this happening instead of, you know, we're putting the cart before the horse all the time. That's all.
Anybody else? May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 20-08?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone care to address the council? Seeing no one wishes to address the council, may I have a motion to close public discussion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 20-08?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Weller?
Yes.
Council President Shortway?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 11, public comments, limited to 3 minutes on any topic. Please note, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone care to address the council on any matter? See, what's that?
Happy to show you my Airbnb condo listing if you like.
Thank you, but no. Seeing no one cares to address the council, may I have a motion to close public
Motion.
comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President and council. During my campaign for mayor, one of the more disturbing comments that I heard several times, related to complaints about how hard it was to, quote, deal with the people who work in this town, unquote. While during the almost 40 years that my family and I have lived in Vernon, we have not had any meaningful negative experiences with dealing with individuals who work in our town. However, I understand that others' experiences may very well have been different. And I also understand that if individual citizens perceive their experiences as having been negative, then in many ways their perception becomes their reality. And so during the first 2+ months that I've been your mayor, I have stressed to the town employees the importance of never forgetting the fact that we work for the people of this town. And that with every interaction that our town's employees have with anyone who seeks our service, we are being graded by those individuals. Now, this message has been strongly reinforced and strongly supported by my chief administrative manager, the town's business manager, Mr. Charles Chuck Volker. In addition, I frequently roam the halls of this municipal complex, stopping people as they come in and go out from doing business with our town's employees. And unless I'm preoccupied with another individual or another matter, I don't let a person that I meet go by without asking them how were they treated and if they received the service that they came into this municipal complex to get. While some often tell me that they didn't get the answer that they wanted, and with more detailed discussion, it's revealed that the reason that they didn't get the answer that they wanted was overwhelmingly due to the fact that it was not within the power of the town employee to change, to break, or to overlook state, county, or municipal rules of laws that have been mandated by legislation. And so while some tell me that they didn't get the answer that they wanted, I have yet, and I know that I'm batting 100, but at some point it's going to come to the end. I have yet to have one to tell me that they had been treated disrespectful, that they had been treated unkind, that they had been treated unprofessional or rude by a town employee. Typical of the responses that I received is a response that came from a Mr. Dan Fitzpatrick, a 27-year-old Vernon resident. I approached Mr. Fitzpatrick in the hall after he had just finished discussing business with the town's building department and the town's fire marshal. When I asked Mr. Fitzpatrick how had he been treated and if he had received the service that he came to the municipal center to get, he not only said that he had been treated well with respect, but that he had received the service that he had came to the municipal center to get. One of Mr. Fitzpatrick's specific quotes was that he, quote, feels comfortable coming into the town hall. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that all of the individuals who work in this town hall are perfect people, because as biblical history tells us, there's only been one perfect human being to ever walk this earth. But what I am trying to tell you tonight is that while the focus of our town council meetings is by necessity on many of the larger issues that need to be addressed by our town, I have not forgotten those small but still important issues that you told me needed to be worked on or fixed. You should also know that getting feedback from individuals that I interact with when they visit the town hall is not the only source that I use to measure or evaluate how well we're doing. And so let me end by just reading very briefly just passages from 2 emails that I've got. The first says, "Dear Mayor Burrell, I just wanted to express my gratitude for the assistance that the town's tax assessor once gave me in completing the mergers of 2 properties. We began this effort only a couple of months ago, and at the time, the attorney who was assisting us warned us that in his experience, it would be very difficult to get any township government, not just Vernon, but anyone, to move quickly enough to complete this consolidation, to complete it in time to gain the tax advantage that they wanted to gain. I told him that I didn't think that that would happen with Vernon Township. And the tax assessor proved them correct, the person said. I'm very appreciative and proud of Vernon for the great service they gave us, really, and doing it in a prompt manner. And just the last one, the second one reached recently. I had some issues with my mortgage company, extra and tax payments and et cetera. My mortgage company was not that helpful. However, I wanted to reach out to you to point out that both Irene Mills and Lisa Kimkowski were extremely helpful and responsive in resolving my issues. Vernon should be proud that they have dedicated professionals working in the town, and that this customer service is superior to most towns. It goes on, but I won't read that. You know, but it is said that the journey of 1,000 miles actually starts with one step. And tonight, what I want to report to the council and to the citizens at large is that we are trying to make those initial small steps. So I'll keep communicating to you some of the little things that we are really trying to do, because those little things count also. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Council comments. Ms. Murphy, would you like to start?
Sure. Councilmember Auberger and I, and he can fill in more when he has his comments, but we went to a liaison meeting with the Board of Ed last week, and what I passed out is their draft numbers. So you could see in the second block of numbers, all the way to the right above that 48,000, right above that is the 179.72. That's where they're at right now.
Yeah, this is not their final.
Right, I highlighted the word draft. It's a tiny little word at the bottom. It says draft. I made sure I highlighted that because that was my question. I couldn't see that. But this is the draft. They've been working on it vigilantly. Unfortunately, they have, teachers that they will be losing. I think they said that there's a principal that will be retiring, that they will not be replacing. But just so you know, this was something that they handed. Did you receive one?
No,
of
I
these?
did not. Thank you.
Because Mr. DeYoung was there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I wanted to just, since we had this, I thought I would, because whatever their number ends up to be, I think ours is at 62 right now, $62.
Yeah.
So, which would be added to that, whatever they come up with, and then, again, like I said, whatever the county comes up with. And you could see they're basing that on an average home of $199,218, which is, $200,000. So, and something else that was discussed there is that, Ed was on economic development, Ed DeYoung, and he said that, and I heard this too, that there are quite a few commercial buildings in town that said that they felt their assessments came in really high. So they were already saying that they'll, be fighting their tax assessments. So just as a note. But other than that, like I said, when John can fill you in on some.
Well, they were
maybe some
looking,
shares.
Ed
You wanna
was going to
wait?
bring back to you,
Yeah.
looking for some shared service ideas. So he was going to present those to you, so that will affect this.
Yeah.
So
If there are.
if
Good.
we're
He
able
did
to
mention
work
that.
together.
Thank you. Yeah, he did.
So, other than that, and I just wondered, I have been talking for a few years about attempting to automate the application in fire prevention. So I'll keep asking.
Okay. I'd be interested in hearing what you got to say about that,
Well,
because anything that we can automate
I-
would be.
It would just, and I don't know what's entailed. Like I said, I know that spatial data has started with our building department. I don't know if that's going to open up yet more, so maybe, if you're replacing that water heater over a weekend, they can apply for a permit so that those fees are not lost. But like I said, in fire prevention, it would just be a convenience, so people do not have to come here just to make
Correct.
the application, to pay their $70 or their $135 if it's a shorter window. So whatever, somebody can do just for the application process, because the requirement for applying for and scheduling the date is that you have to check in the portal at the building department to make sure you do not have any open permits, which they can do. But if they apply fire prevention, the employee in fire prevention can always check that if the people don't know how to go into the portal, although the portal is very simple to use. But like I said, I mean, I was in your office the one day when the employee was not here in fire prevention, and Irene and I were trying to settle something.
Yeah.
And she had one person after another, just all coming in to drop off a check. And, you know, it's not like she could schedule the appointments, but they needed to physically come here and drop off a check. And, you know, it would just save a lot of people a lot of time.
Even if there's no other benefit, as you said, just for convenience, it would be
convenience.
worth it.
For
It would be
convenience.
worth it.
And you would have less people to talk to.
Yeah. Well, you know, that would give Irene something else to do. I mean, give her time to do other stuff, you know, so.
And, you know, something I mentioned, you know, with the ordinance, and I'll bring it up too, is, because we had our budget meeting prior to this, is administration, you know, when the council votes for pay increases. And when we come across something where administration, and I'm not saying that it was you, but you know, if there's no position created, I mean, you just cannot give out increases. And as far as I'm concerned, there was an $1,836 increase. This is no reflection on the employee, not the employee, you know, but you cannot give out an increase, especially when the position is not created. And, you know, at one of the budget meetings, I was told by somebody from administration that it was allowed. The position isn't there. So even if it was allowed for that employee because there was money in the budget, because it's not one of those department heads or administration that the council would need to vote on, because there may be one or two here, the position's not created. And like I said, it's something that's, you know, it's something that's actually gone to court in town, because years ago there were bonuses given out and nobody had to repay anything. But you cannot just hand out money. You cannot just unilaterally say, I'm going to give that person, I'm going to create a job and just give them more money. Can't be done, and it's unfortunate that it happened. And it's unfortunate that it happened given the fact that we have history of that happening. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
No comments.
No comment.
Question, has our AED in the front, I failed to take notice tonight, has that been replaced or?
The batteries are on order now. There was an issue with the company that we were trying to do business with. We're trying to save money because it's easy to go out and buy a brand-new AED. We were trying to get battery replacements, which are harder to find because they're slightly older. But it's a considerable cost savings. We did find a company. There was an issue with them having done business in New Jersey. We worked through that detail, and they're on order.
Very good.
Councilman, just to let you know, your comment to me didn't fall on deaf ears. You
Okay.
actually pointed it out to me in the hall, and I went back and I talked to Chuck about it, and he gave me the answer to just give me. But I want you to know it didn't fall on deaf ears.
Okay.
You pointed out directly to me.
When you go out the front door, the emergency exit for the police station, since they did the trimming on the shrubs, the broken railing is there. Can we at least get the one end closest to the building, some sort of temporary fence until that railing gets fixed? Because a lot of times I see kids run over to see the bear, and it's not that much further over that pit is there now exposed. And the other thing that I'd asked to talk to you about was the old ladder truck that sits down in McAfee. I really believe that should come up to the town. It's our asset. We're looking to trade it in on another vehicle next year. It's an '89, so if some vandalism were to happen to it, trying to find replacements for windows, anything, is going to be a job.
Yeah.
So I can't understand why I know it's going to be a nuisance because of the size, but I really think it has to be up here under better security.
Well, you most certainly did address that to me, and as you so well know, we did talk to the chief, and I communicated to you the feedback that I had. But again, the issue is not resolved to your satisfaction, and perhaps not to mine either, from the standpoint that we do have a resource that we plan on trading in, and it's just out. It's not enclosed, and it's just some difficulty in trying to find a place to enclose it in. If not at their facility, maybe in the DEP state. I don't know, but we still need to work that out.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you. I would like to thank and show public appreciation to the Recreation Committee and Michelle Downton. We had the Viking snowshoe invasion again. 91 people participated. That's the most
Largest
ever.
participation.
Wow.
And that's the third year, right?
Third year, yep.
And as a proud father, my daughter got the #1 for females. So she was sore for a week, and she's in great shape.
In
So,
spite of the snow situation, we had 91 people.
91
That's
people.
incredible.
It really has grown, and it's
Yeah.
really a cool thing. So if other people want to do it next year, it's just a lot of fun, and it's just moving us forward. With that being
Oh,
said,
wait, before, because actually, John, when we were at the Board of Ed, Steve Kepnes said that he met with Kristen Umansky, our tax assessor.
Yes.
And that she was extremely helpful with providing him with all this information that he
Yeah.
required. So I just wanted to, because he did,
Yes.
he said that a few times, and just wanted to make sure that he relayed that to
And
him.
you know, that's,
Any-
I'm not trying to make these people in the town to be something that they're not, but when there's such thing as positive reinforcement. When they do things the way they should, we'll let them know, and when they don't, we do that in private. Trust me, guys, we don't let it go by, and I do appreciate Councilwoman Murphy just mentioning that, because I
I
ain't
do it
heard
all
that
in
one.
public, so
Well,
whatever.
you know,
Thank you for the reminder, because he said that anytime he has to deal with anybody in any of the offices, the knowledge that he receives and whatnot, he really is impressed with our staff.
yeah.
John, your usual, may I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you,
Nobody ever
everybody.
opposes.
Thank you, God bless.